Good evening. There was a video that came out. Extra Good Citizen. He got arrested today. And, well, he shows up at Leon Valley to do a records request. And he does the standard, I'm going to try to be as irritating as possible kind of thing without actually breaking the law. So he goes there and he knows that he's not supposed to bring his camera in. There's your notice. You can't bring a camera in unless you have prior authorization. And remember that prior authorization thing. So he sets his camera up on the ledge so he could record in there because he's going to record himself getting that open records request because by God and by golly, if you don't record yourself, it didn't really happen, right? He's just doing it to be irritating, to annoy Leon Valley. Anyway, the officer tells him you can't do that. You got to put it in a locker. So, he puts it in a locker kind of half hanging out so that he could sort of record the glare in the general direction of where he's going to be getting his records request. Congratulations. Well, he goes, he gets his record request. No big deal. He comes out and he's like, well, I didn't get any real good interaction there. And that kind of sucked because, I need to make money. Maybe he doesn't need to make money. I don't know if this is monetized or not. I have a ad blocker on, so I don't see the videos. If you hear dogs chewing, well, again, I like them more than I like you. So he circulates around, just generally poking, trying to get a response. Nobody's biting. No big deal. Around 22 minutes in, this guy right here that you see down in the little picture kind of thing, that's a cameraman for a local news agency, and he's setting up, and then the reporter comes, and our little gadfly, he's well, if they get to go in, I want to go in, because these morons, they can't discern a distinction between a credible news agency and some schmuck with a camera in his phone using a cell phone camera on a gimbal. Whoop-de-woo, Jesus Christ. So anyway, the news reporter lady goes in. They're like, well, you're going to have to go around to a side entrance or something. They're probably going in to record a city hall meeting or a town council meeting. And so they go around to the other entrance, which is probably going to take them around past where the court is. Or, if you remember this little sign from the beginning, they may have permission from the court. They may have permission from the court to record in there. Or they're going around to a different area that isn't part of the court's domain. So the officer's letting them in here. You can see it. And then they walk through, and the officer walks in behind him. And right about here is where our little gadfly is going to bump into the officer trying to get through the doorway. All right? You can see this officer here just all perked up and ready. These two officers are ready to go. They want to get this little gadfly that's been buzzing around trying to irritate him. They want to get him. They're taking it personal at this point. So as soon as contact is made, because this officer stops when he's halfway through the door, he forces the contact. It's not even a question. He forced the contact. He stopped halfway through the door. And then it's just on. These two guys bum rush our little gadfly, and, they maybe hurt him a little bit, putting those darn hard metal cuffs on. And I'm not going to shed a tear for him because he worked hard to get this. He worked hard to get this arrest. But it was still a shit arrest, and we're going to figure out why. When they're arresting him, they say something along the lines of they're arresting him for obstruction, and I believe they're talking about obstruction of a passageway. It's the Texas Wolfman offense. The problem is that this is Havey State from 1982. The problem is that you gotta be stationary. If you're moving, he was trying to go through the door. If you're moving, you're not obstructing. And because some asshole stopped, just imagine this, because this statute applies to obstruction of a highway or a passageway. Imagine if the car in front of you stops, and so you stop, and then a cop says, "Well, I'm going to give you a ticket for obstructing." Well, there's somebody stopped in front of me. Well, no, I'm going to give you a ticket for obstructing. It's not, it doesn't work. And I think they figured that out with Texas Wolfman. Thank God. I mean, they drug it out for like a year, but I think they figured it out. So when Tweedledum and Tweedlestupid brought this in to write the citation or whatever, I'm sure that whoever was there said, oh, no, we can't do that. But here's what we'll do. We'll look through the codes and we'll find a charge that we can make stick. And they've released the Gadfly, and the Gadfly says he received a citation for assaulting a police officer. Now let's look how stupid, how fucking retarded that is, because that is abso-fucking-lutely the most retarded thing that they can do. No prosecutor is going to take this. No magistrate judge is going to sign off on probable cause unless the officers lied, and they may well have, because there's all sorts of stupid shit that comes out of Leon Valley. I mean, it is the depths of dumb fuckery coming out of Leon Valley. You would think that these guys would have their acts together, but every time you turn around, they're letting these little gadflies get to them, and it makes the officers fuck up. They're terribly trained, or they're just fucking idiots. One of the two. You tell me. I don't know. I'm just telling you what's going on with the law. A person commits an offense. This is assault. A person commits an offense if the person intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly causes bodily injury to another, including the person's spouse. Well, here's the problem with that. There was no bodily injury. He bumped into the guy's bulletproof vest. And he didn't do it intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly. Intentionally means he intended to bump in. He didn't do that. Knowingly means that he knew that by doing that course of action, bumping into the guy was going to happen. No, he didn't do that. Recklessly means he should have known that doing his course of action, he would bump in to the cop. No, he didn't. The cop was walking through the door. He was walking in behind him. At best, it could be negligence, which would be one step down that they don't have listed here. Intentionally, knowingly, recklessly, or negligently. That would be the lowest level. And that is, he was following the cop too close. Well, you get what you get, right? So not only is there not negligence there, not criminal negligence, but there also was no bodily injury. So number one's out. Well, we've got two more, right? Let's go for it. Number two is intentionally or knowingly threatens another with imminent bodily injury, including the person's spouse. Well, there was no threat, first of all, because the cop had his back turned. The cop didn't see what the gadfly was doing. No threat. And again, you have the problem of intentionally or knowingly. The gadfly was trying to go through the door. He didn't know the guy would stop. You can't threaten someone with bodily injury if you don't know what they're going to do and you're just walking. That's retarded. That is not going to fly. That's not going to stick. And then, or intentionally or knowingly causes physical contact with another when that person knows or should reasonably believe that the other will regard the contact as offensive or provocative. Again, you have a problem with he didn't know the cop was going to stop. Now, he probably knew that once he got inside, the cops would notice him and they'd be like, no, you've got to go. But he didn't know the cop was going to stop in the doorway. The cop had his back to him. Help me out here. What am I missing? He had to intentionally or knowingly cause a physical contact. The cop stopped immediately in front of him. And then you have the problem of he has to know or reasonably believe the other will regard the contact as offensive or provocative. How many times have you been offended when you've bumped into somebody going in or out of a door? It happens. People are like, oh, excuse me, and you go through. Oops, my bad, excuse me, pardon me, coming through. Provocative? Come on, give me a break. This is retarded. And then it just goes on with other stuff. And, theoretically, I mean, it could be, if it's against a cop, it could be a felony or some shit. If he knows public servant, something in there. Anyway, it is not assault. So what this is Leon Valley once again punishing people by arresting them for shit they know isn't going to stick. It is stupid cops letting these little gadfly auditors get their goat, and then they make a shit arrest. And unfortunately, I don't think there's really going to be enough damages here for a real attorney to step up and take this. But my God, it would be great if an attorney just took this like pro bono and went to town on it, because this is a shit arrest. And 3 hours later, they release him with a citation for assault on a police officer, you got to be fucking retarded. Anyway, thanks for watching. Joe, you need to fire all of these fucking cops and get real, intelligent, and trained officers in there, because your department is a literal shit show of incompetence. And I have to say, probably piss poor management. I have to say that you can't have this much shit below you unless there's shit above you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.